Good morning from Seattle, Washington. Our journey north, home to Alaska, continues. We did make a quick stop yesterday in Salt Lake City. Charles let us change our oil at his shop. Thank you very much, Charles, and it was great to meet you. We are going to run a few more errands today for the truck. First off is here at the Fuso shop in Seattle. It's time for a new air filter on the truck. Want to make sure we do this before we hit the Alcan. One great thing about the Fuso chassis is that all of the components are easily accessible. We also have a snorkel on the truck, and actually this is more for getting clean air rather than worrying about water exposure.
It is literally that easy.
I pulled a little harder than I needed to. All right, let me get the clean one. So just in case you're curious, for a point of reference, this air filter was $65 here at the Fuso shop. Got to figure out how to line everything back up. That's all she wrote.
Now it's time to head somewhere towards the water, because the next item that needs service is actually more of a marine item than an RV item.
In 2 miles, use the left lane to take exit 167 for Mercer Street towards Seattle Center.
That gimbal is awesome.
We are heading into the city center of Seattle, and I have to tell you, it is so refreshing to have a vehicle that you see the sign for city center and you don't start shaking in your boots thinking like, oh my god, we can just go run our errands, we can do our thing, we can go anywhere we want to. We don't have to worry about whether or not the truck can go. So we are spending the night in the city here, and we're going to be looking for a safe, legal place to park for the night. Boat World, Julie's Landing. Ah, how cool.
Swift trawler, that's beautiful.
I don't think I can let you go around here alone too much, or before long you'll be wanting to sell Denny and buy a boat.
The captain must return to the water at some point.
He will, no doubt. I wouldn't complain, but we just kind of got Denny.
I know.
So we'll have to wait.
Check it out, guys. Between the lines, we're really digging having a smaller vehicle. Okay, so this is our ceramic top Wallas diesel stove, and this is the underside of it. So we need to pop it out of the countertop here. And I have to give a big shout out to the previous owner, Dave. He's been an amazing asset over the months, especially because he owned this truck for many, many years. So I hit him up, especially after that whole wheel balancing thing when the wheel weight tip. I'm like, okay, any words of wisdom before I go pulling this out? Here, let me do this one safer.
Whoever is curved back on it.
There we go.
Ta-da!
The mighty little diesel stovetop.
Wow, look at how small that thing is once it's out.
Here's the deal. It's well established. I'm a do-it-yourselfer. But the guys here at Scan Marine said they're not trying to be salespeople here. They're being very honest that the tolerances for adjusting this stove and tuning it up, and also having the proper tool to scan and read the codes, is very critical. And they charge $150 labor for the service, plus whatever parts may be needed. And he said it'd be kind of like the best $150 you spent, because if you screw it up, just the stovetop alone is $1,800. So I kind of figured, like, okay, maybe we should leave this one up to the professionals. So our peaceful little spot for the night. Yeah, oh wait, it's not quite that peaceful because the road is literally right there. And the truck is right there. And it was warm today, but a breeze whenever a bus or a tractor trailer passes by is really nice. So aside from the noise, it should be a nice night in Seattle.
It's cooled off nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we're not doing Seattle any justice, but literally it is one evening on like literally of our life that we are trying to make it home to Alaska the next day. And so like we said earlier, Scan Marine services Wallas stoves. And these little things are very popular on boats, and they're absolutely amazing for expedition vehicles. Oh, well, oh, the diesel oven. Oh, is there room? This place is like right on the water. I have no like idea about kind of Seattle and what body of water it is.
It's Union Lake.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah.
And does that connect to the ocean through like those locks and all that stuff that
I'm
they
sure
do here?
somehow it does, because people wouldn't have...
Exactly. They have large seafaring boats on this lake.
And actually, I've been seeing people like late this evening, so they're not just here for the businesses, walking their dogs and stuff.
Yeah, they live here.
So I think there must be people living out here on these boats.
Yep. Well, dinner wasn't too bad. We've been spreading our love here with the local economy. There's a Chinese food restaurant about 100 yards down, and all in all, it was a pretty good meal.
It was very good.
What are you up to now?
Oh, just thinking if the oven seems a little chintzy, maybe a boat for Christmas.
Oh, how about a nice trawler?
Sure.
I love those trawlers. Right there. Those type of
I think
full-time boat. Oh, yeah, might as well just go for the 50-footer.
It has a washer and dryer, fly bridge. Oh, it has a Webasto diesel heater. We'd be okay.
You know, we could just pony up to the 130-footer, but that would be just so darn comfortable.
It really
would you have
would.
enough room in there, honey? You know, going from 13 feet to 130 feet. Would that be enough?
Well, it'd be 10 times the size, so I suppose I'd manage to fit everything in there. It has 5 staterooms, too. We could have a lot of company. Maybe we could rent the rooms out to pay for the $10.5 million bill.
I think we'd have to. I know my dad would really like it here because they have this bike path that is separated from the street, and people have just gone zooming by on their bikes. Some are commuting to and from work. Others are just out for an evening ride. But it's nice having that bike path off of the road. Well, the parking lot is full of these signs. And when we got here at 2 o'clock, we did pay for 2 hours.
Well, here's to a peaceful night of urban camping. No doubt we're going to get a great night's sleep here.
The road is literally 3 feet from our heads. Well, it was a restful but noisy night. Good news is our stove just essentially needed basic maintenance, like a thermal coupler and just a servicing. So that's good, only like $150 in labor. We did make one upgrade though to the blower lid, so it can be properly used as a secondary, or I think it might even become a primary heat source, because it's this stove uses so little diesel and so little electricity compared to the S-Bar. So this is where the stove goes in our countertop. We needed to make room, reposition it. So this is just temporarily until we do the whole counter, but it used to be like so. But we're just buying some time and offsetting the whole stove forward about 3.5 inches. The guys here at Scan Marine have been so awesome. Bill brought in his jigsaw so I could cut into our countertop. Doug's been out regularly and educating us on little things about the stove. For example, we probably should allow more air in to this cabinet for the stove to gather combustion, but definitely we need to create more airflow if we're going to be using it as a heat source. So that's all coming in phase 2. Moment of truth.
Back end in first.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Perfect. Got like 1/2 inch of room there. Are you okay with the damage to your green countertop, honey?
As long as you fix it when we get home.
Well, all right. So now I just need to hook up all the connections down below. Okay, buttoning things up for the road. Let me show you the finished product. There it is. So there is now an additional blower to this, but when we're using it, the heat's just kind of going to get directed back here. But when we want to use it as a heater, we put it down and it blows air out right there. Pretty excited because this dehumidifies the air, which is a tremendous problem when you're living in a tiny space. Gotta say a gigantic thank you to Bill, Doug, and Bruce here at Scan Marine in Seattle. They have been amazing. Just having their expertise, we learned a lot. So some of the potential problems that we may have been having was the nut that holds the fuel line on to the stove. It wasn't loose, but it wasn't tight. That's the way they described it. It has to be tight. So that sucker's tight now. Also, the combustion factor. Let me kind of explain this to you real quick. So the stove is there, and the under part of the stove is here. It needs air for combustion. So here's the deal. You go and close this door, that is a very tight seal and not enough air for combustion. So we're gonna rectify that by installing some vents and whatnot. But yeah, we're in business, guys. It's time to cross over into Canada so we can make our way home to Alaska. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a few things, because we did. Hit that subscribe button and we will see you on the road. One last thing, guys, being Alaska residents saved us 10.5% on sales tax. Awesome, gotta love it.